Imagine a world where ships vanish into thin air, where time bends and reality itself seems to warp. Let's unpack the enigmatic tale of the Philadelphia experiment, a story shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Join us as we delve deep into the heart of one of the most captivating conspiracy theories of the 20th century, separating fact from fiction and uncovering the truth behind the legend. Buckle up, because this is one ride you don't want to miss. Welcome to the Lore Chronicles. Let's get started. Picture this. It's 1943, World War II is in full swing, and the United States Navy is pushing the boundaries of scientific exploration. Enter the USS Eldridge, a Navy destroyer docked in Philadelphia. But this isn't your ordinary ship. No, sir. This vessel is about to become ground zero for one of the most extraordinary experiments in history. Now, what exactly was the Navy up to? Well, rumor has it they were dabbling in some seriously advanced technology. We're talking about invisibility, teleportation, and bending the very fabric of space and time itself. It's the kind of stuff that would make even the most seasoned scientists raise an eyebrow. On a fateful day in October, the Navy decided to put their theories to the test. They fired up their experimental equipment, pumping out electromagnetic fields like never before. And what happened next? Brace yourselves, because this is where things get downright bizarre. The USS Eldridge vanished into thin air. That's right, disappeared without a trace. But that's not all. When the ship reappeared, it wasn't the same. Crew members were reportedly fused into the ship's hull. Others went missing entirely, and some were said to have been driven to madness by the experiment. Did you hear what I said a second ago? Crew members were reportedly fused into the ship's hull. As the USS Eldridge vanished into thin air, the scene aboard the ship was anything but ordinary. Witnesses claimed to have seen crew members engulfed in blinding light, their screams echoing through the air as they became inexplicably fused into the very metal of the ship itself. It's a sight that would send shivers down the spine of even the bravest souls. I couldn't imagine seeing something like that. Imagine the horror of those on board, witnessing their trapped comrades in the nightmarish embrace with the ship's hull. Their faces contorted in agony as they became one with the metal. The sounds of metal twisting and warping, coupled with the anguished cries of the sailors, created a cacophony of terror that echoed throughout the harbor. And yet, amidst the chaos and confusion, there were those who claimed to have seen something even more unsettling. Some witnesses reported seeing crew members simply vanish into thin air, as if they were plucked from existence itself. It's a chilling detail that adds another layer of mystery to an already perplexing tale. And what has always gotten me when I think about this story, I've read it several times in different places on the internet. I've seen many videos on this particular topic, and it's an interesting story. It's one of those that has a lot of elements to it that I see that could possibly be true. Some of these stories, I think, are downright easy to debunk, but this one is interesting to me more so than some of the others when it comes to, is it true or not? I don't know. Whether you believe it to be fact or fiction, there's no denying the impact that this tale has had on the imaginations of countless people around the world. And who knows, perhaps one day we will uncover the truth behind this chilling chapter in history. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel, right? But here's the kicker. There are those who swear up and down that this isn't just a story. They claim to have seen it with their very own eyes, or heard it from family members who were there. One of the most intriguing figures in this saga is Carlos Allende. He's the man who first brought the Philadelphia experiment to public attention, sending letters to researchers detailing the events he allegedly witnessed. And here's where it gets even stranger. Allende's letters contain details that he shouldn't have known. Classified information that only someone on the inside could possess. So what is the truth behind the Philadelphia experiment? Was it a groundbreaking scientific breakthrough, or just a figment of imagination? That's a question that's still up for debate to this very day. But let's get into the details and examine more closely this amazing story. To understand the Philadelphia experiment, we must transport ourselves back to the chilling days of World War II. And there was a lot of crazy things going on during that time. You had the Nazis and the Foo Fighters and the crazy things. I need to do a video on the Foo Fighters, by the way, but a lot of crazy things going on during these days. But at this point, it's October 28, 1943, and the USS Eldridge, United States Navy destroyer, sits ominously docked in the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The air crackles with anticipation as scientists and sailors alike prepare for a groundbreaking experiment that would challenge the very laws of nature. The objectives of this experiment are nothing short of audacious. The Navy seeks to harness the power of electromagnetic fields to achieve cloaking technology, rendering the Eldridge invisible to enemy eyes. But that's not all. Whispers of an even more ambitious goal, teleportation, permeate throughout the shipyard, sparkling both excitement and trepidation among those involved. Now let's peer into the fog of time and uncover the first-hand accounts that shed light on the events of that fateful day. Among the witnesses, names like Edward Cameron, Alfred Bielek, and Duncan Cameron frequently emerge from the annals of history. I probably didn't say Alfred's last name correctly, but go ahead and tell me how it's pronounced in the comments. These brave souls were among the crew aboard the Eldridge when the experiment unfolded, and their testimonies provide a chilling glimpse into the chaos that ensued. Edward Cameron, for instance, recounts how he watched in disbelief as the ship shimmered and then vanished before his very eyes. Alfred Bielek's tale is even more harrowing, describing how he felt disoriented and experienced bizarre distortions in time and space. And then there's Duncan Cameron, whose recollections paint a picture of sheer terror as he witnessed his fellow crew members suffer inexplicable physical and psychological effects. These accounts, corroborated by fellow crew members and documented in various letters and interviews, leave little doubt that something extraordinary occurred aboard the Eldridge that day. Now let's peel back a little bit more. We will uncover a labyrinth of theories and speculations that only add to the intrigue. One prevailing theory suggests the involvement of none other than Albert Einstein himself, drawn into the project by his groundbreaking work on the unified field theory. It's said that his insights paved the way for the experiment's audacious goals, although concrete evidence of his direct involvement remains elusive. But perhaps even more tantalizing are the whispers of a government cover-up. Some claim that the consequences of the experiment were far more dire than anyone could have imagined. Reports abound of crew members driven to madness, suffering physical effects beyond comprehension, and even disappearing without a trace, as we mentioned earlier. It's really a chilling narrative that hints at a darker truth lurking behind the surface. A truth that some would go to great lengths to conceal, if it's true indeed. So it's quite a story if you've never heard that one before. And anytime we have a secret government experiment, I will give it a little bit more credence than I will some of these other folktales. Now, I believe there's some truth in nearly everything that's out there, in nearly every tale that's out there. That's how these tales really become the legends that they have become, is because there are some bits of truth to it. And some, I think, may be a little bit more truthful than others, but I believe there's at least a segment of it. And when the government says something didn't happen, it makes me believe that it did happen. Or something happened that they're trying to cover up. That's just me. I'm just one of those people. But that said, for this purpose, we're going to look at the facts as we know it, okay? So this is the part where we try to separate fact and fiction. Let's give it a go. To understand the plausibility of the Philadelphia experiment, we must first take a really good look at the context of the historical record during World War II and the technological landscape of the 1940s. This was a time of unprecedented innovation and scientific discovery, driven by the urgent demands of war. Both sides were creating technology that was beyond what had been seen, a decade prior. World War II saw remarkable advancements in technology, from the development of radar and sonar to the creation of the atomic bomb. However, it's crucial to recognize the limitations of technology during this era. While strides were being made, the technology of the time pales in comparison to what we have today. The notion of achieving invisibility, teleportation, and time travel, concepts central to the Philadelphia experiment, present significant challenges even with modern technology. In the 1940s, the very idea would have been considered science fiction, far beyond the reach of contemporary scientific understanding. Furthermore, the resources and infrastructure required to conduct such a groundbreaking experiment would have been staggering. The notion of the Navy conducting such an experiment in secret without leaving a trace of evidence strains credulity. When viewed through the lens of historical context, it becomes clear that the Philadelphia experiment stretches the bounds of plausibility. While the era was marked by remarkable advancements, fantastical claims of the experiment remain firmly rooted in the realm of fiction, or so we believe. Now, despite the intrigue surrounding the Philadelphia experiment, a critical examination reveals a glaring absence of credible documentation and scientific evidence supporting its occurrence. While eyewitness testimonies abound, there is a notable lack of corroborating evidence to substantiate their claims. Additionally, inconsistencies in witness testimonies and conflicting accounts further undermine the credibility of the alleged events. Discrepancies in details such as the date, location, and nature of the experiment cast doubt on the reliability of the accounts, raising questions about their accuracy and veracity. And that's what always stinks about these good stories. Very, very interesting, sound intriguing, but when you start looking at some of the facts that don't jive, it really does start to make one believe that it's not as true as people would like you to believe, those who are telling the story anyway. Delving deeper into the scientific aspects of the Philadelphia experiment, it becomes evident that achieving invisibility, teleportation, and time travel with the technology available during the 1940s would have been nothing short of impossible. The principles of electromagnetism and cloaking technology central to the purported experiment were in their infancy during this era. While modern advancements have made strides in these fields, the technology available in the 1940s simply lacked the sophistication and capability required to achieve such feats. Furthermore, the very concept of invisibility, teleportation, and time travel defy the laws of physics as we understand them. I'll get more to that in just a second. While theoretical possibilities in the realm of science fiction, the practical application of these concepts remains firmly out of known reach, even with the most advanced technology available today. Thus, when examined through a scientific lens, the claims of the Philadelphia experiment unravel, revealing to be nothing more than fantastical tales spun from the fabric of imagination. Now, I prepared all of that debunking section to explain the scientific approach, to explain the lack of evidence and things like that when we look at this particular experiment. And all of that stuff is true. I don't believe any of it's wrong. That's why I put it in the video. But when you start trying to debunk the debunking, that also starts to sound interesting. Because, yeah, things that happened in the 1940s, you might forget some dates. There might be some discrepancies. And if it was the traumatic experience that it was said to have been, I can imagine that there would be some issues remembering some things, right? That you might not be able to remember things correctly. That happens all the time. I've conducted interviews with people in certain work environments, and people who are in the same room experience different things and they had different memories. And when you add trauma to that, I can see that there being a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to memories of the actual event and firm details. Also, when you are going through a traumatic experience, some things are vivid in your mind while others are very fuzzy. And that might be different for someone else who's experiencing their own thing, their own trauma in the moment. So there might be something that draws their attention while they're forgetting other things too. So you just may be missing information between the two of you or misremembering, and that's possible as well. I just don't put anything past our government. And when it comes to the technology that we think they had, well, what if they're holding back? I don't know. If you like this sort of video, you might like our video on the Montauk Project or any of the other videos on urban legends and folklore that we have right here on this channel, Lore Chronicles. We'll see you next time.